Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Kevin Reeves, and welcome to our commentary for the making of Remember to Forget documentary. And we have here Ian Baird. Say hello.
Hello.
And we're just going to rock through this thing and comment on what's going on, and hope you enjoy.
Yeah, disclaimer panels.
We have to make sure that everybody is aware of all the disclaimers.
Of all the bad cameras that were used to film this thing. We're getting into our dramatic intro here.
This is Kevin Reeves.
Kevin Reeves, one of the most talented musicians.
Oh, this whole album is just fantastic.
Warning, this may incur seizures.
Yeah, it does start to blow through the footage pretty quick here. I think a couple of people might have thought this whole intro was a little self-serving towards you, Mr. Reeves, but the thing is, it's other people talking about your music, and I thought it was important to establish some of the street cred there, I guess.
And for the record, I didn't even put this together, so...
No, actually, you had nothing to do with this. I'll take full responsibility for that and any seizures that were induced. Actually, not that second part. All the way back to November 5th, 2009.
Safety first. Always wear your seatbelt. All right.
Give the lowdown here.
I guess this is where it all begins. We are on our way to Traverse City, Michigan. Well, Lake Annaby.
So yeah, this was the beginning of a very long drive, a very long day.
Joel is not yet here.
Yeah, I don't even know if I was up at this time when you were on the road.
No, actually, I don't think you were, which is why later on when you see me calling you, I'm leaving a voicemail because you were not awake yet.
Once he gets here, I know you're thinking, oh my god, he's got that tom precariously propped up there, but it's actually quite heavy and quite stable, so don't worry. I love
that thing was well in place.
Pretty cool. No iPod dock, no CD player.
Yeah, this van did drive well.
The little MP3 player.
For as big as it was, it was actually a comfortable ride.
So you were wearing headphones while you were driving. Can we just comment on the fact that that's against the law?
No, actually, I really wasn't. I was wearing earbuds.
Oh.
Very, very important on a road trip such as this.
Yes, there. Footage of me reaffirming my addiction to caffeine.
So, there you go. Talk to you soon. Hey man, just let you know I'm on the road. I am headed out of Greenville now.
Yeah, there's me leaving the voicemail while you're still snoozing away in Michigan. Then we get into our first little driving montage here.
This is the song you're hearing here is from the actual EP, which came out this year.
The Train, an instrumental version of it. Roadkill. Little roadkill in there. You can rewind that and view it again if you'd like.
Great big grobs of grimy gopher guts.
There's that Hershey's. I just passed the Hershey's thing a second ago, and this is Indiana countryside. And there we go.
Is the highway named after that town?
Is there?
And we are joined by Joel Gragg. Hello. Hello, Joel.
Hello.
How's it going? It's going well. We have loaded up all of his stuff now in here, as you can see.
Yes, more stuff in the van.
Hi, I did a bad job.
Once he entered the van, there was like a high dollar value
So we're just going to have to live with what we have.
that was suddenly inside of that van.
Fort Wayne, and these
Probably
are
70 grand, 60 grand.
Yeah.
Lake Annaby.
Well, we'll get to that later. We'll see that in a
5
bit.
hours, 12 minutes. Another 323.79 miles. So,
Shut up and drive.
we'll carry on now.
This is one of Joel's tunes. We thought since we were picking up Joel, we might as well pimp one of his songs out.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorites from his repertoire. This is When the Dust Settles off of the album of the same name.
This is a fun record to work on.
Yeah, it was. Did these drums down at Melody Hill Farm in Nashville. So yeah, it's dark now. And we're gonna cut to
All right.
to you.
It's 8:45 p.m. on Thursday.
Okay, now I know some people are going to question why this footage looks the way it does, and I debated long and hard about going this route. The camera that Kevin's dad used filmed at such a low resolution that you could pretty much sort of count the pixels. And in its natural state, it seemed a little unwatchable to me. And so I did this to kind of just say, oh, okay, let's just let the cat out of the bag and have some fun with it. So Joel commented that you looked a little like a Bond villain in this footage, and I have to agree. It's pretty rad.
It's going to be a whirlwind.
Nice.
Recording.
Little nod to King's X. We are somewhere in Michigan. I think we're 7-8 miles away from Kevin's. Yeah. And we were, in fact, only 7 or 8 miles away from your house at this point, and it still took us another hour and a half to finally find our way to you. So we don't really expound on that in this, but
quite yet. For he is the engineer for this weekend.
And you guys have Van Ass by now, right?
Really can't see him right now. Oh, you saw his profile for a second.
we were delirious, as you'll see here in a second.
I want a gorgeous profile it is. Oh, thank you.
Okay, Tim Gunn.
Little South Park there.
We almost hit Bigfoot a few miles back.
Yeah, like delirium was really setting in by this point for us.
And there you go. So I guess we'll see you when we get to Kevin's.
Much later.
Welcome here.
All right, it is dark, and we have found our way here, folks. So we are in the beautiful
there's not much to see here.
darkness of the
The camera I had that a lot of this stuff, pretty much all the stuff in Michigan is filmed on, was a little Sony point and shoot that I just got in a few days before, but it wasn't really a video camera, so no cool night vision or anything like that.
Light. There's Kevin. There's Joel. I'm all sweaty. Well, because he's hot. Yeah. He's so hot. So there's Joel.
Yeah, and like we did this full day of driving, got
Gizmo
there,
after Gizmo. Joel,
and did start to set up. Like we were up so late this night.
And we were watching those Creed Shreds videos.
Oh, that's right.
And Santana Shreds.
Where you are right now. What do we need?
I got a zip tie on this bitch.
I got some dikes.
You got some what?
Some dikes.
Say what?
Dykes are a pair of pliers, just for the record.
Yeah, that is not him being crude.
It's a stereo preamp. About 75 gain.
The sexy Focusrite.
We can't get a good sound with this processing gear. I quit.
That music you hear is the a cappella track from Done and Said from the first album.
Drummers note how nasty that head is that I'm taking off the drum there.
Well, thank you.
I pretty much change my drum heads when I have to. And this was actually my first experience with the Evans EC2 clearers. And I've been using them ever since on my toms, because I quite like them.
So as promised, we'll have a little rundown of this here in a bit. First, we're going to go upstairs and take our handy dandy tripod with us and set up some drums. Joel has been running live.
Because people probably don't know, Kevin's dad built this place. And this was such a gorgeous home to be in. And it was like he had accidentally built this perfect drum room where all these, there was like no 90-degree angles, and it was really amazing. So it was a really, really nice place to record in.
Is it plugged in somewhere? Plugged into the the power. The wall.
Yeah, thanks. That helps.
That's Joel Gragg, and he is heavily influenced by jug music.
Joel actually screened this yesterday,
Tube and throat singing.
and he got a good chuckle out of that exchange as well.
Ooh.
See, that's not how tube and throat singing sounds, but we'll go there. We'll
Yeah, it's all right.
Maybe your dad's trying to outdo you.
I'm gonna tell him never again.
Well, you should just start advising.
This is one of my many rants that I go on during the day.
Because I told him to get a Mac Mini. I didn't even have one yet. I'm like, yeah, you should get a Mac Mini. Well, I just ordered a Mac Mini. So you
Kiss your mother with that mouth?
finally got one. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, and
whatever.
we're looking at this skylight. I mean, this place was just amazing. It really was. It was such a cool house. You'll see here in a second
I'm gonna get a shot of the sink here.
well, you'll get a feel for the sink.
I have to have a sink like this. This is exactly the kind of sink I've always wanted.
And that's true. It's an amazing sink. I had to gush on it for a second, forgive
And
me.
it's just beautiful. And this is their view from their kitchen as you do your dishes. I don't have this. I have a blank, white, old, nasty wall. No
And I
windows,
still
no
do.
windows in my kitchen.
Put salt blocks out so that while they're doing dishes, the deer will come by.
Ah, see? Come on. Now you're just rubbing it in. That's not fair. My drums are here. And this is the view we've got.
Look at that. It just goes on.
I really cannot imagine.
I love places with
Cool
big
setting,
sky.
serene setting to be
And
working in. This is really, really
it was
nice.
just really, really great up
Nice and
there.
far away from us. Got these wonderful vaulted ceilings. These wonderful wood walls.
Say wonderful again.
Maybe later on I'll play my drums naked in front of a roaring fire.
And let's not do that.
For the record, this is not how the drums were to sound on the actual record.
Yeah, I mean, you're just hearing
But-
the... You're just hearing the... me kind of
Camera
testing...
audio.
Yeah, you're hearing the camera audio, and it's just me kind of testing out the room. Obviously none of this is something from your record, so this is just me kind of getting a feel for it and just kind of soaking in how good that room sounded.
So far exceeds expectations about the sound. So far everything just sounds amazing, and so we're just kind of getting the last of it hooked up, and no stress. We're just doing the deal.
No
You want to do the
stress.
rundown real quick? Okay, so we have
And for all the
for the drum chain
gear geeks out there, feel free to drool on your screens.
going through.
Going through the LE610.
Your Apple Watch.
Snare top.
Yeah.
Chandler MK2. Or Chandler TG channel.
Yeah,
We have bottom
this
snare
was
going
such
through
a
the
nice
pre-1 here on the 428.
collection of stuff to be working with.
Low tone.
Joel worked at Sweetwater at the time, and so some of the stuff he was able to just sort of like check out library style from Sweetwater and bring it with him for the weekend, and brought some just amazing pieces.
Well, room, I guess too.
And I thought, some of this gear talk would probably
XY pattern. And stereo.
bore a lot of people, admittedly. But then I also wanted to give a shout out to our friends out there who are kind of gearheads.
Gnarly. All going there.
When you watch a lot of music documentaries, they have these racks of wonderful gear behind them, and they very rarely talk about them. So I thought for the gearheads it was important to get something in there.
Drums for Euphoria.
Yeah, yes, that is true. And it's really boring to watch someone track, so I tried to cut through this and just kind of give you some brief snippets.
It's one of the 6/8 songs, not quite sure which.
God, just listen to that. I just love the sound of that room.
Yeah, it's huge.
Even with the crappy microphone on the camera, like you can still hear the potential there.
Hello, John. Go ahead.
I'm listening to George Norrie.
Yeah, a little shout out to Coast there.
No problem.
Not that we believe
There's,
anything that they ever have to say, just saying.
Saturday morning. We've
it's fun.
gotten done with 10 songs. 10
Yes.
tracks for 10 songs.
And I know you didn't see
So that was
footage
the
for
goal
tracking
today,
drums for 10
was our
songs,
goal.
but I just thought
You
that
would
would
have
be
shut it off by
incredibly
then.
boring. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Out now, but
I still question whether what was in there was maybe a smidge too long, but
It's awesome.
it is what it is.
I'm just so wiped out.
We're not filmmakers.
High energy.
Never done this before.
Cutting great sounding tracks, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm just so beat now. It's a long day.
we've hit that lull. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Indeed we
what time
had.
Did you get up this morning?
8?
8. And you guys let me sleep till almost 10.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, by the way. And now I have coffee, so I'm
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
And this footage here is a bit on the dark side. But that is pretty much how the lighting was in that room.
Time that I am awake.
There's only so much we can do when we don't know what we're doing. So,
house. I mean, like just driving.
and that's really what it looked like. That's what it felt like to stand in there. So I just left it, man.
Amazing up here. It's like I feel like I should be.
I wanted you to be there, man. I wanted you to feel like you were there.
It's like
One thing that you omitted from this discussion is the fact that when you went to 7-Eleven, you saw hot chicks, and you thought they were the hottest chicks you'd seen for the Midwest.
Here's Joel.
So,
Did I?
Very.
yeah, that was a comment you made.
Feel about things today, Joel?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great sound.
Yeah, it sounds like something I might have said. Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, once I apply Beat Detective, it'll be perfect.
Ho!
Some inside baseball.
First insult of the day.
We've got more crap to do tomorrow, so we've got some auxiliary percussion to do, and whatever else we feel like squeezing in. So
God,
we'll see how it all
you can
goes.
tell I'm wiped out.
We're gonna enjoy the rest of our night without you. Bye.
Get the camera off that mug. Thank you. Gotta cut a sample of that.
And I've written that in Twitter, like I'd spell that out like I'm trying to throw up. Like, ooh, I just heard this track and it's
Yeah, we were talking about spelling it UUUUOLP.
It's like the sound of throwing up
Ooh.
your own mouth. There's Kevin and Joel. It is Saturday morning. Say hi to the camera, kids.
What up? Yep, Saturday morning.
Yes, it is Saturday
We'll do
morning.
strings for them, and then we'll do some aux percussion and probably just strike it.
I'm going to take you people outside. Trusty.
Get to the fairy tale sequence.
So this is walking out of the basement at Kevin's.
But see, the sound you use here almost sounds like a specter about to materialize and kill you.
Yeah, it's the comedy, or accompanies the slow pan across the
Got all the drums done.
property behind the house.
Yes, sir.
So what's
Yeah, frame missing back there.
what's happening next?
Didn't film anymore, and whatever. Who cares?
We're gonna do aux.
I mean, really, it's only so exciting to sit there and watch some dude beat on drums anyway. So
A couple of things.
How are we gonna set that up, Kevin?
Well, I thought that probably what we'd have to do is you guys would take turns engineering. We just have to have 2 people at a time up there. But we need a second set of headphones up there too.
Well, that's doable because we got 2 sets down here.
Okay. Is that a good sandwich, Joel?
Very good.
Did you eat the rest of the roast beef?
I did. I'm having a nice.
King roast beef bogarting. So you sit there.
Bastard isn't a bad word.
Yep. Yep.
It's still funny that it's bleeped, though.
yeah, I thought it was funnier just to sometimes it's funnier when it's bleeped.
Doing that will.
And I thought about leaving them in and just putting a thing on there, but like a warning. But
This is Joel Gragg, your friendly neighborhood.
I don't know. It's funny with the beeps in
Joel's
there.
going to walk us through what mics we used for this recording project. So, where do you want to
Sound like the devil.
Start with this one right here. This is the Royer Labs Stereo SF24 ribbon microphone.
Yes, for those who know what you're looking at, drool a whole lot.
Overheads.
That one mic,
It's pretty much.
we could have gotten a whole drum sound with that one mic and a kick drum mic.
Does that thing cost?
That mic was so amazing sounding. I
Yeah.
can't even explain the detail to that mic. It was freakish. I mean, it really almost sounded like the whole damn kit was mic'd up. It was incredible.
On the toms, we have KSM, a pair of KSM 144s.
When they're on.
Or excuse me, 141s.
There you go.
Rather.
On Tom 1 and Tom 2 here.
Tom 3, the low tom here, we have a KSM 44, which here is pretty much the same capsule, it's just a larger diaphragm.
All right.
They're all transformerless. And then we have
This was just a really nice setup. Just like looking at this now, it's like, ugh.
5 and D6.
If that could be my drum room every day.
D6 is inside the kick drum there, kind of hard to see.
Right. And then on the bottom snare,
I do like Meotics.
another ribbon mic, the new actually, Shure KSM 131.
And I know that's like the Audix aren't nearly as expensive as some of the mics used here, but I really do like the Audix mics.
We also got in front of the kick.
A lot of people do.
We have
Well, I know a couple people, if they listen to this, they just rolled their eyes as I said that.
bass
But
drum,
yes, I love the D6. Roll your eyes.
I'd say 10 inches away from the head.
Yeah, it was a nice mic, that blue one as well.
Gets It's a nice little.
And it's all old timey and schmancy looking, so it must sound good.
Around here, a pair of M-Audio Pulsar 2s. And a good stereo pair, just capturing a little bit more of the ambience in the room.
Which there is a lot of.
Things that we had going on
Yeah.
in the room.
And listen to Joel's voice as he descends the staircase here.
That's tiled. We have down here, based in the corner, trap, an Earthworks TC30, which is an omnidirectional capsule.
Yeah, it was a nice sounding mic too.
And goes from about 5 hertz to about 30 kilohertz.
It is not a rectal thermometer.
It will not tell your temperature.
All right, and that's what
Though
we
it does look like it could.
Yeah, that's it.
We're good when you are, man. You first.
Yeah.
Now we're just sound checking here. So we're just kind of letting Joel get levels and stuff, so.
And there's my little ISIS theme.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of messing about here. But it's kind of cool because I don't think, most people know you as a singer or a keyboardist, so seeing a beat on something here was kind of nice and different.
Yeah.
And ironically, yeah, this winds up on your EP.
Yeah, this is from Find a Way, so go back and listen to that one. You'll hear all that.
Well, not these bits, but
No.
but what we were preparing to do was for Find a Way. After you did some Eminem.
Yes, and now I have to get stupid with Eminem. And I even did it wrong, but what the hell? I was being dumb and...
Yeah. It wasn't like it was a rap battle, so I think it's all right.
Yeah. Papa Doc!
Yeah, I didn't film any footage of us breaking down.
Okay, so it is Saturday night, actually technically Sunday morning. It's about 10 to 1.
It's Saturday night and I...
Yeah, this is another bit, like, I really questioned, did this need to be in here or not? But I kept it tight and just
So Joel and I can
said, sure, because it kind of gets us to the next bit.
5 hours and 10 minutes and make the arduous journey back home.
Next time I make a movie, I'm just going to make sure that I'm not in it, because
To do it in. Anyway.
it's amazing how one can really get tired of looking at themselves really
I will see
quick.
you technically later.
Kanye doesn't.
Good night.
Well, we can't all be
It is
Kanye.
Sunday morning. It is a beautiful, chilly Michigan morning.
It was a pretty morning.
For our windows to defrost because this rental van did not come with an ice scraper.
Yeah.
So we
Note to self, if you're going to drive to the north
Here's Joel.
in the
Good morning, sir.
winter
It
months
is bright and early.
and you rent a vehicle, stop by Dollar General or wherever and grab yourself an ice scraper.
So how do you feel about this weekend's adventure now that we are packed up and here's our stuff all loaded back in the van and packed much more efficiently this time around? Good. Good?
Yeah.
Happy with everything? Yeah?
Warm feelings.
Warm feelings?
Yeah.
Like the kind that you get when you're wearing a sweater?
Like the kind I get when I'm listening to Ray Boltz.
I cannot believe he just came out with that.
Warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you're listening to Ray Boltz.
Not so much here. More around here.
Ho!
Okay.
Yeah, for those who don't know, just Google Ray Boltz.
Ray Boltz.
You are welcome.
We're going to get on the road here in a moment.
That was a funny go-to.
I really like this tree.
And I really did.
Here we are leaving
It's very cool.
the property of the Reeves family.
You also like the pitch shift.
Should I make a right turn?
Man, I just wanted to keep this thing sort of moving and back to another driving montage. But I wanted to keep things moving and just somewhat interesting because I think for guys like us who do this sort of thing on a regular basis, I find a lot of it just to be boring, and I like, who really wants to watch this? So being a non-filmmaker, I suppose, I just decided to try to keep things somewhat playful here and there and moving as the real drama is about to unfold. So, just try to keep things light.
What kind of trees these are, but we keep coming across some of these groves.
These were cool.
Straight up and down like that, and they all look the same.
The camera's doing no justice
It's just amazing.
to them at the moment, but nor is me veering towards the right.
They call that driving by braille.
Yeah, that's what I did there for a second. Now here's Joel about to drop some logging gold.
Okay. Lake Michigan, and they would transport it. Okay. And the guy that was responsible for a lot of that planted a lot of these trees. Really? I forget the guy's name. Yes. You can look it up. Interesting. Western Michigan is just filled with them. It's some type of a pine is what type it is. But they are pine.
It's like he knows
This has been
in the vaguest of ways.
Joel Gragg. Yes. I have a log.
Uh-oh.
Do you have a log? No. I have a Yule log. No. Don't have a Yule log. It's not that I have a log, but... No. It's more of a flimsy, silly thing.
You guys are silly.
Yeah, it's that long drive delirium. And there we are seeing the bunny again.
So I'm currently driving home. I've dropped off Joel some...
It's me sporting my what would you call that?
Should be to Indianapolis.
My spy look.
30-something miles.
Did you eat McDonald's or Burger King on the way home? Which one do we advertise for?
I don't think I ate anything on the way home, actually.
Oh my God.
I didn't eat anything on the way there either.
That's like 8 hours of not eating.
I feel very beat up and tired.
I look like a spy from like the mod era who golfs. That's what it just came to mind. Sorry. Little shout out to Greenville, Illinois, as we cruise by those signs and get off the exit here. That's actually the edge of town. It's not in town.
I just pulled in my driveway, and I am very happy to be here. Safely, all that good stuff. And it carries on from here.
A creepy Torchlight Chat with Kevin and Joel.
Okay, so the day after we recorded those drums,
You wanna explain here what this was like? Why this is in here?
because it was really exciting too.
Yeah, so this stretch of audio, and it's weird I'm talking against myself, but this stretch of audio is a discussion that I had with Joel, kind of outlaying
Discovered that
the stuff that went wrong with the recording of the album. When we did the drums, there was some huge problems, and we ended up scrapping the entire project.
at the time.
So that's what this was.
I was having a conversation on the phone.
We thought we would just kind of lay it out, both of, just
hadn't talked in a while.
kind of get in a
So we
conversation
decided
and,
to,
lay it out there.
kind of get together real quick and wrap.
Yeah,
it up
I think it was a good
when it
thing
happened.
that you guys took the time to do this.
For me at the time,
So I'm going to explain, because if people want to know what happened, they can go back and just
so go
watch
ahead and
this
talk over
segment
this.
without the commentary. But yeah,
back on it now.
so when Joel and Kevin got situated to sit down and do this, you guys did this via FaceTime, yeah?
Later on.
Yeah, I think he was recording via ScreenFlow, and I was recording via QuickTime, and then we were in FaceTime doing this.
Really
Yeah.
did have great sound.
Right. And anyway, the reason we don't cut back and forth between the two screenshots is we wound up having just kind of a bunch of errors on one side of the footage. So all we really had to work with was this is what Joel saw on his screen. This whole sequence is just that. That's what we had. The funny thing is that
Joel had a great plan for.
as you can see where Kevin is sitting, it's dark in this room, and the only light that that we've got is this light coming from the laptop, and it's from this upward angle, and in this dark room, it just looks so creepy to me. So to kind of further the gag along a little bit, decided to superimpose these torches next to Kevin and the sound of a crackling fire, and put the little old-timey projection filter on it, and just because I thought it was funny that this came out so almost eerie looking in a way. Which I guess in some ways is kind of fitting, considering that this was kind of
hit upside the head by the whole.
what's being addressed here is a very kind of rough patch to the whole project as a whole, which kind of caused the project to be abandoned for over 2 years.
Yeah.
To react in some not so So good.
So I do think it's probably good that, not probably. I do think it's good that this was this was included. And it might seem a bit dull, but I mean,
we've long since.
It was important just to tell the story of the record, and there was a lot of question marks for a lot of your fans and stuff. And as dull as some of this might seem to set through, we can at least say that this is the complete story, as funny or as dull or as.
For it to happen when we're not like
it is a story as it is. So I think at least that much was achieved with this documentary.
As far as you and I were concerned,
Little Tool reference there.
That wasn't our first rodeo together. I mean, we. I think that's what we were going on is the past up until
the music in the background is the
you and I
the Fender Rhodes track for Dying Inside,
college,
but slowed way the hell down.
Yeah, I took it and stretched it way out.
And I played on your.
It seemed fitting though.
Before and you
just the song and
and
with what happened and then slowing it way down and the pacing that it has worked out really really nicely, especially at the end of the conversation.
And we had literally
it's really really funny how well it kind of works.
We set this thing up Friday, and we were done by Saturday. So we literally erected a studio in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
That's exactly kind of how this worked.
Yeah,
oh God, yeah.
That is true.
It was crazy. I mean,
it was a huge endeavor. And the truth is, we did not, we didn't know some of this gear. I think that was like the weekend we figured out,
Sorry, more geek talk.
You can't run both the ADAT and the SPDIF at the same time.
We're going, what the hell's an ADAT?
That's the big thing.
SPDIF? Why would you want to spit on your gear?
Talking about it.
That's gross.
Stop spitting on your gear.
That was it. I remember.
It's gonna stop
that's
working.
When you made the comment after this happened, you said, "Man, I wish I would have just driven the 20 miles to Radio Shack to go get those."
What had happened? Yeah.
In all fairness,
Radio
20
Shack.
miles to Radio Shack is not just a quick run down the street to Radio Shack. So it's not completely out of. It's not completely unreasonable to decide to not do that 40-mile round trip for an adapter.
That night, it was probably 2
adapter.
We listened to everything, and we were.
It's disgusting.
It sounded so good, and then we were like, "Okay, we've got everything going, so let's get 2-3 hours of sleep." I got up at 7.
I should. When he said back there, we were crapping ourselves. I should have dropped in a sample of a little. I should have. Opportunity missed.
Crunchy digital crap, and I checked the clock issues, and there was.
What's a clock? You had to know what time it was? What does that mean?
Said, hey.
I should have put up little definitions as we rolled along here. Oh well, that's what Google's for. Google Ray bolts and SPDIF
because of time and
IO clock.
And
Oop.
we rerouted some things to some other available analog channels and just made the best of it.
All of that to say, things are cool.
Yeah.
The record is out. Things got rebooted. It just was what it was. For a little neurotic guy like me, man, it really laid me low, and unfortunately, I laid a couple other people low in its wake. And
you're really not that short.
We're both neurotic, Kevin. I mean,
I'm 5'5".
Because it was an artistic endeavor and not just an.
They're shorter.
Gig.
Oh, I know.
Both of us.
You're not Dudley Moore short.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it was. I almost, I didn't know if I was gonna release it. We thought, well, maybe we can use Trigger and some things to try to save.
Trigger!
It took several years off.
Which there was an original attempt to try to do something with the drum tracks, and at the time, it just didn't work. And there was tools that we had later on and software we had later on that did allow us to revamp some of that stuff for the EP.
Yep.
But at the time, it really was kind of an all or nothing type situation.
Back to the Future.
It's a motorcycle. No, it's a football being kicked.
This is Traverse.
Now, this is obviously from a radio show, and this is pretty boring to look at.
NPR.
Kickstarter to try and fund a
Yeah, NPR up in
raised $7,000
up in the neck of the woods that you were in at the time.
Campaign up a couple of weeks ago, and it was the very first experience.
And I talk really low on NPR. I don't know why I do that.
Has been donated.
because I think that's required. No one ever sounds excited on NPR.
Supporters and fans.
You never hear like, you know,
Hey, well, this is NPR. All things considered.
What I do, and they
it's the phrase that pays.
Ah!
So I know you're working on a new album. You're trying to raise the funds.
CC Chapman.
I'm curious to
Yeah.
know, what kind of album.
He was kind enough to let us include this in here.
Yeah, I've
even
met
though
him.
he's a
I've met
tiny
him
little
like
man in a box.
twice in real life.
Yeah, CC seems like a terribly nice guy, and he was very cool about letting us use this. He was like, "Yeah, go ahead." He talks nothing like that. I don't even know why I said that like that, but you know what I mean.
We're coming from a different place in the writing process, so.
Now, I'm curious I know you're using Kickstarter to help raise money to finish the album, but what specifically?
Yeah, so this is when Kevin decided to sort of reboot the project and try this whole, kind of
crowdfunding,
newer model of, crowdfunding.
iTunes and GarageBand and make an album these days.
And set the goal for $7,000, and this was kind of through.
Cost some money. Now, you don't have to make a $50,000.
This whole sequence here is taken from different Kickstarter update videos. So, you do a Kickstarter thing and you put up update videos as you're going through. So this whole little montage up through a certain point is all taken back from some of his Kickstarter update videos, because there were some good bits in here that also help tell the story.
Blatantly pimp for this project.
And CC gushes on you here for a second, which I thought
I
was
must
great.
have had a cold, because I actually sound like a man on this recording. I'm like talking like William S. Burroughs. I don't know what my deal is.
Extremely excited. But as a friend, also that you're finally making more music. It's about time.
It's about time.
I really do appreciate it.
Definitely.
I'm totally excited about the way this.
That was not me making fun of CC. I'm sorry.
No.
That just came out.
No.
I'm an ass.
This has all been made possible by your donations. If you have donated, I so much appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Kevin Reeves back again with another update video. We're just
this little reel here. This is the best out of all these Kickstarter ones, personally.
Thanks to my girlfriend Kelly for filming this.
I really appreciate.
You actually hear her chuckle
Yeah.
here and there, so she makes a vocal appearance.
Oh man,
I don't know.
forgot to credit her as a voiceover artist.
I appreciate your time and hope to.
Did you hear the Yoshi sound from Mario? There you go.
That's the footage we're looking for, buddy. That's the miracle. 5 minutes of documentary and.
But leave it to me to take the outtakes and shove them into the actual documentary. Someone loop that.
I hope to hear from you guys on Twitter. Follow me at Reevesman or K Reeves Music.
To everyone who has.
Now this was taken when you were in the process of moving. So if anyone is looking behind Kevin is like, why is there like stuff everywhere? Because they were in the process of moving. He's not a slob. It was just it was a busy time in his life.
Kickstarter thing lasted a month. Unfortunately, we were about.
Now this is
our $7,000 goal.
I would say the second to most recent footage we actually had. We have filmed that Kevin filmed with a GoPro. That was included in the documentary. And at
Boy,
the time
we wish we had
this was just done a
GoPros.
few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, back in 2009? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
$7,000 for an album like this is pretty cheap.
And the audio is actually coming off the iPhone. I'm using one of those Zoom IQ mics. I just set it on the table in front of me.
Achieve your goal, you don't get any of it.
That is correct.
And then synced it up later.
Fortunately for all the people that did pledge.
So Kevin's talking here, kind of how the Kickstarter thing didn't happen, because if you don't hit your goal, you don't get anything.
The next step
You get nothing, kid. I have to say, I like that this room with the GoPro with the fisheye lens looks a little creepy, like something out of The Shining. Like those two creepy twins should just pop up from behind him at any moment.
But I'm incredibly appreciative
it is
of the people that stepped forward again.
It's just kind of creepy looking. There's a lot of weird, like accidentally creepy looking footage in this documentary, which I think is funny. Because for those who know me, I am like a horror fan, a horror movie fan. So it's kind of funny that this came out the way it did.
Fortunately, we're able to get the album off the ground and get things rolling, and the Kickstarter was a minor setback, but we just keep pushing forward.
Little rocket ship delay effect. Yes, so more boring drum tracking footage. I try to keep this pretty brief. I mean, so we were recording from the ground up at this rate. I mean, so everything I had played a few years prior in Michigan, you know, that was all scrapped. And so here we are doing it again with none of that super cool gear you saw earlier. This is all consumer microphones and at the time an M Audio Fast Track Ultra 8R interface. Then we had 2 extra room mics that were actually back in my kitchen going to Ratcliffe's computer to an Apache Duet, and then sync that by hand later into the session that was running on my computer. I know it seems like a ridiculous way to go about it, but it did work out. I mean, it did work well. We still wound up with what a lot of people have said is a decent drum sound for the record, so. Cursing and swearing. And then I walk off all huffy looking. Meh. I had slept for about 3 hours before we did this. I was up super late, and I was sick. I was a little rough around the edges on this day. Yes, everything that we were wrangling.
Man, there's just too much f***ing shit to be starting and stopping.
Oh, someone has a potty mouth. Yeah, I decided to put that someone needs a hug kind of fades onto the wall behind the drum kick. Because I really do sound like a whiny bitch here at this point. I mean, in context, there was a lot going on, and we were
It was all
doing
cobbled
multiple
together.
things.
I mean, it really.
I mean, it was insane. It was not the optimal way to do it because you're on Skype. We have 2 computers running. We're trying to film and run cameras. You know, I wasn't feeling well and hadn't slept, and
Right. Well, I'm hearing from his.
it was just one of those things.
In that room right there. That's really what I'm hearing. I'm not even hearing much of the other one anymore.
Nothing's changed. You should be hearing the interface, and you're supposed to be turning down that input.
Now, okay, so this sequence is in here, even though it's rather dull and boring. I'm not shaming Ratcliffe in here by including this in here. This, at this point, was one of our breakdowns that had happened by having all of this weird routing and Skype and cables running here and there. And I mean, like, it was just one of those things. I left that in there.
Okay, so we're moving on.
Just because to give you a feel like of how much we're doing and how many little details like kind of had to align in order for us to make this happen. It was frustrating.
I'm sure you're on.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in what's the.
I mean, one of these days, I'm just going to develop some program that does all of this.
You're comfortable, man.
Your DAW with your video chat.
Yeah, it'd be nice for someone to come in and consolidate all this.
See, it's just too much about with. Turn this up.
And there I am being all
Go to the camera.
being all foul-mouthed again.
Left foot in, put your left foot out.
But that is what it felt like. It felt like the hokey pokey all day.
Yep. And that's a good level, pretty much. I can turn this up.
Are we making this really hard for you, Ratcliffe, with all these click this, mute that?
You want me to hit record now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Might recognize that beat.
Yeah, it's the Go-Go's.
To watch a drummer tracking drums. It is this fucking exciting.
And there you have it. Soak in that excitement.
I didn't even realize we looked that bored.
I mean, how else can you look at this point? That's what I thought. Some of these jokes in here, I'm probably the one who thinks it's funny, but that's why I thought it was funny to have this build up and then just cut to, I mean, this is actual footage of you, like while I'm off in the other room tracking drums and you guys are kind of sitting there, he's watching the screen and you're kind of listening on the headphones, and it's a dull process.
Yeah, sounded great. Yeah.
Again, I wanted people to feel like they were there, man.
Yeah,
We're going to release this in 3D to IMAX.
So this is the let's make Kevin look ridiculous moment.
No, not at all. Not at all. I thought it was a funny montage. So this is all taken, we had from this day, from this camera that you're seeing right now, 5 hours and 10 minutes of footage
in Synchronicity 2 in the
of us working that day remotely doing the drum tracks. And you just had a lot of funny little bits in here and little descriptive bits and stuff that as this weird little montage just make for some funny randomness.
Oh yeah, they're on and. Cause I resign myself to live. Yeah, those are on the and. The and of 4. So it's like, okay, can we do say what? When we originally did it, the first verse, so we just went are you doing that kind of new wave 16th pattern hi-hat thing? But then there's some like snare crashes occasionally.
I do like working with you in your ability to always be able to vocalize
Superhero
what it is that you're after.
Well, it's
a little Mrs. Doubtfire there.
Ratcliffe, are you an iPhone user? Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Exactly what you heard on the keyboard drums part, but you did something. So, no worries. Yep. Is it a he that turned into a she that fell in love with a she that turned into a he? Post-op. Okay.
I have no idea where that came from either.
I really don't know. Poor Ratcliffe probably thought we were just totally ridiculous to work with.
Yep, I do too. So you've got the dum with the toms that you're doing, which is good, and then and then we're done. Okay, thank you.
And this was the very last bit of the night. This was the last thing we tracked that day.
That's a wrap, kids.
And this concludes drum tracking.
So once the task of retracking,
And here we go into the rest of it finally. We're finally off drums.
I had pulled Jeff Smith, who's a fantastic bass player, into this project, and we actually tried to.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Smith, who is a fantastic bassist.
And we just,
once we realized
you know,
we couldn't save them.
I feel bad because the guy did the whole thing in one day and did it all for free and everything, and
unfortunately, I was not
so
able to use Jeff's tracks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he did some great stuff, but
we just had to lock it in with the new, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this whole process of doing this album was kind of like a massive lesson in, like, it's going to become what it becomes, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a great lesson in learning how to, or reminding us how to, you know, ride the muse's coattails. Forgive my lousy Doobie Brothers impersonation.
Oh yeah, this is guitar tracking day.
Yeah, this is Jeff Faulkner. He's a St. Louis guitar player. He's been around for probably like 20 plus years on the scene now. He's a very fine guitar player, good guy. And he was kind enough to come out and lay down some guitars.
Maroon 5?
Yeah.
At the time, I don't know if it still is, that guitar was his baby at the time, one of his babies.
We're on our own, people.
Assuming he's still playing it, I don't know.
Or does it go?
Learning new material on the fly.
Like that? Or does it just go?
That way, right there.
Okay.
And if guitar players are wondering what the amp is we're using, we did a combination. Jeff had a classic orange at the time, like an original one, through an orange cab.
And had him play.
And then we did the overdubs all through the Reason Grande, a head called a Reason Grande through the same cab, mic'd with an Audix i5. Shout out to Fred Hayner back there as well. Unfortunately, we didn't have any footage of him tracking.
I then had a guy named Chris.
Whatever tragging is that a real word? It is now.
Snogging.
He's a great blues rock player. Has a lot of really great licks and ideas, and he laid down some electrics, some acoustics.
Into the footage here with Mr. Chris Sterr.
lap steel here.
People are wondering why we don't have more footage of other people tracking.
Just a great player.
I had a bad hard drive failure last year, and I wound up losing a bunch of stuff. So some of the stuff had to be pulled from Kickstarter videos. Some of it was like half of it survived and half of it did not. So again, this whole thing was just kind of working with what we had to work with and doing our best to tell the story.
This recording session here was my first foray into using Reaper. And
yeah, that's right.
It was an experiment.
Chris is also a fine guitar player. He is running direct. So if anyone's like, why is that tone so direct sounding? It's because it is. Because we reamped or reamp modeled later on. So we just kind of needed the bone dry thing to happen.
I think I'm running BX Rock Rack as just some basic like speaker cabinet that it could hear. That was about it.
And ironically, this footage is, in my opinion, the best looking footage out of the whole documentary, which was shot with an iPhone, go figure.
Okay, go ahead and roll. We'll see what we can get.
Some of this footage, when you blow it up on a big screen, it really, really reveals its warts and all that good stuff. And this footage actually seems to sort of survive translating to a bigger screen. I'm not saying you could show it at the theater, but maybe you can't. I don't know.
Oh, that's the old demo vocals.
What do you think of that? Holy shit. That's it. That's exactly what that's going to do.
Cool.
Woo. Cut it.
Cool. And kind of chorus.
He makes kind of a funny sound here in a second. I hope he doesn't mind me having left it in here because I thought it was funny.
There will sound kind of. I mean, like it's gonna have soul and like.
Yep, I love it.
And it's gonna be like
But that is kind of like, what studio talk is like. Like we're, half our conversations are just making noises. Making noises at each other in the studio.
Commentary track, which is available on Bandcamp. You'll hear me talk about all the weird ways in which I had to finagle.
Yeah, and for those who haven't, Kevin's done commentary tracks for these releases, the EP and the album, and they're really, really worth a listen. Even though I was included in the process because he just did those by himself, it was really, really cool to hear just his perspective, and he really dishes a lot of dirt, I should say, in a good way. Just as far as the insight that you kind of get. So, and I think every band should be making commentary tracks to their records. It's a great idea.
Okay. So should I redo the whole verse?
If you're wondering, did the censor beep just delay? Yes, it did. because Kevin tracking, you like to use a synced up delay to the BPM just to kind of help you lock in rhythmically when you're laying stuff down. Not that that's necessarily there later on.
Here we are.
And since that's just on while he's talking, well, the censor beep had to have a delay on it as well.
And all my dreams fade in decay. I feel like I'm crawling out of a world that is
The Rode NT 1A,
Yeah. That's
that mic, yeah? Yeah, it's a good sounding mic. Sorry, man. I had to throw that in there. It's part of the story, man. Who knows? That whole album might have hinged on that moment where you let out that burp.
alone in this crowd as I'm seeing the world.
I love how you come off this in a second.
I wonder what the first takes sound like. Do you think we have enough to comp?
Probably. In all honesty, yeah. I'd say let's move on to backing.
And kind of smattered throughout that process was keyboard tracking sessions. And I tracked keyboards.
Which we also didn't really have any footage of.
Because I didn't have cameras that, I could just...
Done in the dorm room.
Man,
Yeah, I mean, Kevin and I live across the country from one another.
In my living room, in my recliner.
So we really can't, I can't pop on over and aim cameras and stuff. So this footage that you do see, this time lapse bit, is him from the day we were actually tracking with Jeff Faulkner, and he was just kind of playing out some notes to help Jeff suss out chords. So that's what that footage actually is there.
Proofs for me to check out. So if I thought something needed to come up or down, we would discuss it over
I thought about explaining this footage here, me mixing, but
further improve that technique with the release of the EP, where we were actually
let you sort it out for
Skype,
yourself.
and I was listening to things and talking to him, and we were able to mix that project much quicker. So once the mixing was done, we sent it off to a guy by the name of Jacob Dettering over at Red Pill Entertainment. He threw it to tape and then back into
shout out to Jacob.
We wish
as
we
well.
had some footage of that. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah, Jacob's got a wonderful studio in St. Louis called Red Pill Entertainment, and he's a really good engineer.
That's kind of, in a nutshell, the process of how this record came.
I always like everything that he winds up sending back to me. So here we have this little sped up montage again from the kind of cut up of footage all through the documentary, just to kind of give you a little quick rewind,
literally the writing
or replay, if you will.
In 2007, to be honest. So we're looking at almost a 7-year build-up. We had the...
And what's weird is the piano music you hear in the background was random playing that I did to demo a new piano instrument that I bought for my keyboard. And we just used it and slapped it on the end of this. We just thought it made good ambiance.
And
yeah, it worked well.
So it's been a long road. It's been hard on me at times, hard on others at times.
And it is cool that, all this footage spans a 5.5-year time period.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and that's just what happens in the.
And it was just,
sometimes, and
it was a journey.
Yeah, it was what it was. I think if I have to do a documentary again, I'm gonna know.
They're finally out there for people to check.
I love this ending bit here.
And I couldn't be any happier. So what's next? Well, I've got some ideas.
There you go. I think that's probably one of my favorite bits in the whole thing.
Yeah, because I took about 4 or 5 tries at it of just trying to throw something in there, and you picked the first one, or actually you picked like half of the first one, and that was it.
Yeah. It was a perfect way to kind of wrap it up, because the story doesn't end there. We're getting to our credits reel, which moves so slowly because we didn't have very many credits, but we wanted to finally have a reveal of a fully produced track that you finally get to hear at the end, and we wanted to use the whole song. So you can take your time reading. You could go make a sandwich, come back,
and this will still be playing. What more do we say? I don't know. I
don't know. We're just gonna rock out to the song for a second.
I get, it's just this is my first time kind of sitting here checking it out all the way through, because you had a couple other changes. I had a draft of it before, but so
here we go to our very long list of people who were kind enough to donate to this project. And thank you to each and every one of you,
I know
by
it.
the way. And I pray that we spelled your name right.
Well, whatever was in the PayPal list, that's how it was in the... So if it's wrong, blame PayPal.
Blame PayPal. Yeah. We are not responsible. Just blame PayPal. This little moment here, this is one of my favorite spots in the whole record. I like it. Big dramatic swell.
Just when I look behind.
And we're still reading this list of backers. It's a long list.
Because they're amazing backers.
Little crater maker in there. Special thanks. I suppose there's no need to really comment on this, but we'll leave this all in it anyway.
Yeah, that's what we need to be is like, well, what we thought we would do is use this frame with this RGB setting for the text.
Yeah, people should reread that title panel that just went by for a second time. You may not have caught it the first time. Just making our way to the end here. And if you've actually sat through this, I do want to thank you for watching and listening to us banter.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
And perfect way to end it. Little funny Easter egg in there for the ending. So thanks for listening to this commentary, and we'll see you soon, I suppose, or however the hell we want to get out of this.
Peace out.
Good enough.